And we are back. We're joined by Stephen Cooperman. He's the Senior Product Manager for Panasonic Systems Communications Company of North America. We would call them Panasonic in real life. They're the guys that make the cameras. And Stephen, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Hey, Larry. Nice to be with you today.
We are delighted to have you here. For people that aren't paying attention, have been asleep under a rock for the last 50 years, what's Panasonic doing these days?
Well, here at NAB, as always, we have a full lineup of camcorders, recorders, monitors, and other production tools, including new cameras and switchers this year.
Well, cameras are always a hot topic. Let's talk about what's new, and then I got all kinds of questions for you.
Cool.
So what's the cool stuff?
Super cool is our brand new VariCam cameras. This year at NAB 2014, we introduced two brand new cameras. And for those of your listeners who haven't heard of the VariCams, we came out with the first VariCams about 12 years ago. Definitely an industry-leading camera at all levels of technology.
Now, why so? Why is it industry-leading?
Well, when it first came out, it was industry-leading because it was the first camera to offer variable frame rates in camera, had a nice gamma curve, something called film rec that gave you a nice film-like look in camera on videotape. And then, of course, moving through the years, we came out with P2 versions of those cameras about 5 years ago. Obviously, as you see here on the NAB floor, there's a tremendous amount of competitive cameras. But this year at NAB, what we've done, or what we've been doing the last couple of years is we've had a tremendous amount of focus groups. We've been talking to customers, rental companies, post-production customers, cinematographers across LA, New York, and everywhere in between, as well as internationally. And that foundation gave us the basis for what we now have as our brand new VariCams.
And what is the new features in the new VariCams?
Well, the VariCam 35 is our first Super 35 millimeter censored camera. It's a 4K camera, but it's not just 4K. It also records 2K, records HD, records proxy, and even has RAW options. So it has the codecs and record capabilities for every type of 4K workflow.
Now, is it doing 2K and 1080? Is it doing by cropping the sensor, or is it scaling the 4K image down? In other words, are we changing the focal length of the lens?
It's doing it by scaling. But essentially what's happening, and this is a good question, and there's a good reason why we have all this recording formats. Inside, there's a codec, Panasonic P2 AVC Ultra 4K.
Which is a very nice codec.
Which is a beautiful codec. In the last few years when I've been here on your show, I've mentioned AVC Ultra. Exciting thing about this NAB is this is the first year where we have many products that have AVC Ultra. And what AVC Ultra 4K allows is in camera, we can record full resolution 4K on our new Express P2 card, which is a high-speed P2 card, while simultaneously recording 2K and proxy on a micro P2 card.
But if I do that, do I see exactly the same image, just lower resolution, or
yes.
Am I zooming into the image?
You're seeing the same image.
Oh, that's very cool.
And
that keeps the focal length of the camera the same. It doesn't
yes.
give a wide-angle lens suddenly make it look like a close-up lens.
Exactly. And the cool thing about that, where this plays is this camera also offers new features such as in-camera grading. So what this allows you to do is have essentially an untouched log look for your master, while you also, if you'd like, you could put baked-in looks into your proxy, into your 2K for editing. It has multiple outputs as well. So on set, the DP could be looking at one output, the producer, the director, cinematographer could be looking at other outputs.
So we've got a sensor, which is the size of a 35 millimeter film frame. So
yes.
that's a really big sensor.
Yes.
And that's in the VariCam. Have you got anything else that's new?
Well, one part of that is new is yesterday we made two big announcements. One of them is with Codex, who has created an uncompressed RAW 4K recorder exclusively for usage with this camera. So whereas we could record internally in the Panasonic format, we can also record outboard uncompressed 120 frame a second 4K content, which is a huge differentiating advantage in the industry. So whether you want to have a quick P2 4K workflow or a full RAW workflow, this camera offers it all. And in addition, yesterday we also announced a collaboration with Apple for ProRes, where we will also offer ProRes HQ as well as ProRes 444 internal to the camera, again, for those customers that want to be able to take advantage of ProRes for a ubiquitous editing.
So you can natively record in ProRes for those as a selection on a workflow?
With those two formats, yes.
ProRes 422 HQ and ProRes 4x4.
Yes.
Very cool. Where can people go on the web to learn more about the cameras Panasonic has available?
Sure, definitely. Please visit www.panasonic.com/broadcast.
That's Panasonic, sonic.com/broadcast. And Stephen Cooperman is the Senior Product Manager for Panasonic's high-end and which range of cameras are you working with?
I manage the Pro Video lineup at Panasonic, including P2, AVC, cam, and monitors. And we have a whole team of product managers working hard this year at NAB.
If it makes pictures, Stephen's got it under control. Stephen, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Larry.